Hey y'all, welcome to video number 3. This is going to be our math lesson for the day. We are going to be learning all about rounding and word problems. Before we can learn about rounding and word problems, we have to think and turn our brains backwards to last week when we learned about rounding in general. If you can think in your brain and remember, there were 2 key words that we put along with rounding, and I told y'all we were going to do more with those words later on. Well, now is that time. So if you can think about the 2 key words that went with rounding, give yourself a second to think, and I will give you a hint. One of those words starts with an A, and the other word starts with an E. I have the words written on the back of my trusty whiteboard, and when you have given yourself enough time to think, or you think you have the answer, you can unpause this video and check to see if you are correct. Okay? If you said that the keywords that went with rounding were the words about and estimate, you were exactly right, and you can give yourself a pat on the back. Okay, now that we remember our keywords, we are ready to learn about rounding in word problems. Let's get started. Okay, rounding word problems, just like we just talked about, our rounding keywords are going to be about and estimate. So as you watch this video, I want you to be looking for the words about or estimate. Okay, word problems that ask you to round. We will be talking about checking our work with rounding tomorrow, but for right now, we're only going to be dealing with the types of word problems that explicitly ask you to round. When you have a word problem that asks you to round, you are going to have one number that needs to be rounded, and you will not need to be performing any operations. For example, this word problem says, Miss Gates has 145 tomatoes. About how many tomatoes does she have? If you'll notice, it says the word about, and we know that's one of our keywords that tells us we have to round. A question that a lot of students ask, and even some parents, and even I asked a lot when I was in college, was how do I know whether or not I have to round by hundreds or tens? Well, the hard and easy answer at the same time is, you don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to round by hundreds or tens. The word problem didn't tell me. So I have to make my own decision using my own math brain of whether or not I want to round by hundreds or tens. I will tell you right now, when you are in 3rd grade, unless the problem tells you explicitly or says it in the problem, round by hundreds or round by tens, you will always, always, always be okay choosing which one you round by, as long as you're reading the question carefully and you know it doesn't explicitly tell you to round by hundreds or round by tens. So in this example, if I rounded by tens, I would round my answer to 150 tomatoes because I know that I have a high 5 and my 4 is going to go up. Or if I rounded by hundreds, I would have 100 tomatoes because I know that the 4 in the tens place tells my 1 to stay the same. If I was going to answer this as like in a journal question, I would write the answer as Miss Gates has about 150 tomatoes if I was answering with tens. I want you to pay very close attention to how I answered this problem. I didn't say Miss Gates has 150 tomatoes because that's not true. I brought the about back just so my reader knows that I am answering in an estimate and not in an exact amount. So, again, I would use about and say Miss Gates has about 150 tomatoes. Okay, now it's your turn to try. This is your problem. Miss Parker has 234 Skittles. About how many Skittles does she have? Before you go on and view the answer, I would like for you to pause the video and write down your answer on a piece of scratch paper. And I will read it one more time for you. Miss Parker has Miss Parker has 234 Skittles. About how many Skittles does Miss Parker have? Okay, if you answered that Miss Parker has about 230 Skittles or that Miss Parker has about 200 Skittles, you are exactly right. And you are ready to do some more independent practice on your own. Congratulations, you made it through the rounding video. You are going to do the rounding checkup and then move on to the author's purpose review. In the author's purpose review, we'll be talking more about what we talked about yesterday regarding author's purpose, and we'll also be looking into some examples of our persuasive, informative, and entertaining types of writing. So be sure that you keep your brains turned on and pay very close attention to the next video.